chat. Let me just sort out my camera before we start. There we go. Right, so I've abandoned the green screen. It wasn't working for me. Well, no, I've still got the green screen. It's behind here, but I've kind of put my flags up. Basically, what I worked out was I am a live chatter. I much prefer to talk to people and have that interaction with the viewers. So we are returning to live chats, and I am back now to be covering, after a short little break, absence, to cover all of the royal news. So I hope you like my backdrop. It's of course the Union Jack and the Royal Standard. So it was the right time to come back because it was the long-awaited unveiling of the Diana, Princess of Wales statue. Now, don't go hating on me for the title of this video. Yes, I put Princess Diana purely because, and I know she's not and never was Princess Diana. She was always the Princess of Wales. And then after divorce, she was Diana, Princess of Wales. But I couldn't fit it all in the title, so don't come for me. I put Princess Diana because that's what people type when they look for her on YouTube. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not taking any nonsense this time round. Absolutely not. So I do know what she's called, but for the sake of YouTube and their algorithm, she's Princess Diana in the title. Right, I can see people dropping in. I can see, and I'm going to need my glasses for this one. I can see Innes, Mason, Camille, Anna, Christine, Kez, Sterling. Hello to all of you. Also, we have 101 people watching. Right, so let's go back to the very start, because I think that's always the very best place. Oh, by the way, welcome Millie Shearer, or Shearer, who has become a channel member. Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world. So, going back to 2017, I believe it was, I was doing a live chat and I was sat in my kitchen talking about the news that for the anniversary, I think, it was in 2017, it was the 20th anniversary of Diana's sad passing. And I was talking about the news that William and Harry had both jointly, equally, commissioned a new project. It was a new statue by Ian Rank Broadley, who was later unveiled as the statue creator, sculptor. And they were going to create a brand new statue to commemorate the life of their mother. So I remember, cast your minds back, I don't know if anyone can find that live chat, because I can't remember when it was, but it would have been 2017. Actually, it probably would have been about the same time as Diana's anniversary, actually. So I was sat in my kitchen, and I shared the news with everyone. This was going to happen. And I made a prediction there and then as to what I would like the statue to look like. And suffice to say, I did not get my wish. It wasn't the eventual statue that was unveiled today was not what I had in mind whatsoever. So let's just talk. Statue would have been, you know, when Diana danced with John Travolta, you know, that famous, you know, clip of her dancing with John Travolta, and she was swirling in that long dress, and she had Diana had so much fun when she was being free, and I think that she felt the most free when she was dancing, when she was listening to music. She looked very animated when she was dancing with John Travolta. So just that pose, not of John Travolta, but just Diana in that kind of pose with her arm extended and the flowing dress, for me, would have captured the movement, would have captured Diana's love of dancing, love of life, Diana's love of life. Suffice to say, that's not what we got. I was holding out hope all the way to the very last moment that it was going to be Diana dancing. I kept saying, please let it be Diana dancing, please, please, please. It wasn't. So we'll get to what it was in a moment. So again, lots of speculation. Oh, no, we'll go back to when it was supposed to be unveiled. So it was supposed to be unveiled last year, and it wasn't even until last, possibly September, October, November, when it was unveiled that it was going to be in the Sunken Garden. People didn't even know where this statue was going to be, and I know that people didn't know where it was going to be because I went to Kensington Palace last August. Yes, it was last August, when the pandemic had loosened a little bit here in the UK. And I went to Kensington Palace If you want to check out that vlog, just search Royal Reviewer Kensington Palace. The vlog will be there. I visited Kensington Palace and I spoke to one of a long-term staff. This is not some kind of minor functionary. She was a long-term member of staff. In fact, when I went, there was only like maybe 10 people in the whole palace in terms of tourists. So we were able to speak to a lot of staff. And we spoke to one lady who'd been there. I think she'd only just started about a year or so after Diana's passing. So she's been there a long time. And at the time, she didn't even know where the statue was going to be. She said that everyone was remaining very tight-lipped. She thought it would be in the meadow because that was appropriate for kind of being kind of free and everyone could kind of go. I said to her, I think it's going to be the sunken garden. And at the time, last August, the sunken garden was closed. You couldn't go in it. And I thought, they're redoing it for something. It's closed, it's being renovated, it's being replanted for something specific. And I thought then, it's going to be the Diana statue. But the member of staff didn't agree. She thought it was going to be in the meadow. That was going to be more appropriate because she thought that Kensington Palace has a big long history of not just Diana but a lot of royals. So I can see her logic in that the sunken garden kind of wasn't just associated with Diana. It was associated with many, many, many other royals or royal family members who had lived at the palace at some point throughout its history. So she thought that kind of almost dedicating the sunken garden, almost giving it to Diana would not be the most appropriate thing. But I was convinced it was going to be the sunken garden. Even though I got the design of the statue wrong, I kind of guessed it was going to be in the sunken garden. So anyway, I left Kensington Palace, moved on, and then literally it was about 2 weeks after my visit to Kensington Palace that it was announced that it was going to be in the sunken garden. And of course it was postponed for that year because obviously coronavirus. Then we get to this year, things are still kind of restricted. Today's ceremony and event was majorly scaled back. There was only one cameraman, there was only one reporter, it was close family, close friends, and anybody who was involved with the design, making, gardening of the statue. So it was a very closed off ceremony. It was not open to the public. The garden will be open to the public once everything's, gone today. So you will be able to go and have a look. But it was a very small ceremony. Nothing was broadcast live. There weren't any photos released until after the event. Now, for those of you wanting footage, if you go to, is it Reuters or Reuters? I never know how you say it. Reuters, the Reuters live channel, and there is some filming. So whoever was filming on the camera, it was given out to probably lots of media outlets. It will probably be featuring all over the news right now, in news clips and all the highlights. I watched it, so it was a live replay. No, it was a replay of what was filmed live in a premiere, in a YouTube premiere. By the time I was watching it, it had already happened. The unveiling had already happened. There weren't any speeches like what the media was talking about, that Harry was going to give a speech, that William was going to give a speech. That didn't happen. We did have some words that were published, which I'll read in a moment. I also saw on Twitter a clip, there were lots of people outside, so there were lots of crowds outside of the sunken garden who couldn't see what was going on. So they were all kind of milling about. There's a live stream that's about 5 hours long on YouTube. I think it was put out by The Sun or The Mirror, a newspaper in the UK, just filming outside. You can't see anything. All you can see is people milling about outside. So they didn't know when it was happening either. But anyway, if you want to see people just milling about on the day, you can. But there is a clip. A spectator saw Diana's brother and her 2 sisters walking in the crowd. So they did not arrive by car. They actually walked through the throng of the crowd. They stopped to have a look at the memorials that people had very kindly left, and then they went into Kensington Palace ready for the ceremony. So there is a really cute clip out there. I don't know how you'll find it because I can't remember who it was. Right, Okay, I think what we should probably do is actually just take a look at the statue. No, I'll talk about what happened in the video, of course. So, William and Harry turn up. William is kind of leading the pair. So, whenever William moves on, Harry kind of moves on as well. And they kind of make their way down a line of people saying hello, giving all of their greetings. I will say that by the end, no, I'll talk about that at the end of the video. I'm going to talk about how the two brothers' kind of presence is, if you like. So I'll talk about that at the end. So once they'd said their hellos and and their meet and greet, a very short, brief meet and. Oh, by the way, everyone had been tested for coronavirus as well. So and been vaccinated. So it was all completely safe. It was all COVID secure. No need to panic. No need to worry. No need to get commenting. Everything was safe. So once they'd had their meet and greet, they stood at the bottom of the statue, which actually I noticed at the time, it had a cover on it and it was all covered up and it looked tall. So I was like, oh, well, at least it's not like a small statue. At least it's actually big of stature. So then they both grabbed a cord and they pulled it off slowly in unison. Harry grabbed the covering and kind of started to roll it up. It was taken off him by someone who came after. There was a round of applause. As soon as it was unveiled, the crowd broke into applause and they all just stood back admiring it. William both Harry and William stood looking very kind of pensively at the statue. And as soon as it was unveiled, I was like, oh, it's not what I expected. I wanted her dancing, and I'm going to make no secret of it. I wanted her dancing. Please let me know in the comment section below what you had in mind. Before you saw the statue, what were you hoping, or what did you think the statue was going to be? Let me know. You know what I wanted. I wanted her dancing. I wanted her in the John Travolta pose. That didn't happen. But what we did get was Diana with some children. Now, I'm not sure if the children are real life children that she actually met, maybe in a photo or a foreign visit. They could just be completely made up random. I would like to know, actually, if they were based on real children that she actually met during her life. I can't recognise them, and I can't pick it out from an image of Diana with children, although Diana was, famously at home with children. She loved children, she loved her sons. Some people are mistakenly saying that there are 2 children in the statue. There are 3. Look very carefully to the right-hand side of the statue. There is an extra pair of legs. There is an extra pair of legs behind one of the children. I'll show you. Hang on. So just in case you haven't seen already, this is the statue, and it was by Ian Rank Broadley. And if you can look at the legs, look at the legs of the girl. There are an extra pair of legs right behind. Look. So yes, there are 3 children, not 2. Now, the sculptor is amazing. I've seen his work before. It was announced he was going to be the sculptor, so I looked up his work. He is an amazing sculptor. And I think he has captured her likeness. You look at it and you go, wow, that is Diana. That looks like Diana. You don't have to try hard to realise who it is. Sometimes with statues, the likeness isn't so good. The likeness is there. Also, the fashion is very much Diana's kind of later phase of her life, with the kind of, cinched in waists. And so it captures Diana's fashion of very serious. In the face, she looks very kind of serious. Some people have said it's maybe quite hard to kind of do a smile, and maybe that wouldn't have been necessarily appropriate anyway. It's a very commanding statue. She's kind of, she's like this. She's kind of got her arms out on the children. It does convey her compassion. It also conveys perhaps her strength in her own conviction. So I get it. I get the statue. But my initial thought was, I was disappointed. My initial thought was probably because I had in mind a bit more free, being a bit more joyous, showing her when she was at her happiness. But I get this statue. it it is commanding. It does fit the space. The colour I like. Some people I think have said, well, maybe they'd like it in a lighter colour, maybe white. I think the colour is spot on. The colour is perfect. It really fits with the whole kind of ambiance and demeanour of Kensington Palace. It doesn't stand out too much, and I think that's probably what the lady that I was speaking to at the palace last year was kind of going on about, was that she didn't really want anything to be too kind of in your face about Diana. She didn't want anything to become Diana's, because there is a rich history of other royals and people that resided or lived or stayed at Kensington Palace. I think the colour is really appropriate. It's not too overpowering. I think if it had have been in white, it would have been very very in your face, very hard to keep clean as well. I think this is amazing. The sculptor, as I've said, has done an amazing job. The likeness is there. I'm still slightly disappointed with the actual design of it. You know what I would have liked to have seen, but I think it's something that could potentially grow on me. In fact, it already has. From when I first, so I think it's going to be a grower, and I would love to go to Kensington Palace and actually see it really in real life. And I imagine it looks very different in the flesh, so to speak, in person, than what it does on camera. I'm imagining the camera doesn't quite do it the same level of justice. Right, so people want to know who was there. So of course we had Princes William and Harry. I'm just getting something up on the screen because there was I found some good information on who was actually there, including some of the staff as well. So I do want to go through that. So there's William and Harry. Of course, there's Diana's brother, Charles Spencer, who is Earl Spencer. He's the one, if you didn't know, who gave the speech at Diana's funeral. There are her sisters, of course, Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Lady Jane Fellows. Again, as I said before, they arrived on foot and kind of walked through all the throng of people that were outside the palace. Ian Rank Broadley is the sculptor. Of course, he was going to be there. Pip Morrison is the gardener who has been in charge of creating the new layout of Kensington Palace's sunken garden, where Diana's statue is placed. Now, the sunken garden was one of Diana's favourite places at the palace. She also had her own garden, a little short walk from her apartment, which were apartments 8 and 9, which were joined together at Kensington Palace, at the rear of Kensington Palace. So she had her own private garden, which then later, after her passing, went to Princess Michael of Kent to look after. But Diana's favourite kind of contemplative space, I do believe, was the sunken garden. More than 4,000 new flowers have been planted in the garden to complement the new statue, including Diana's favourite flowers of forget-me-nots, which I think was really, really lovely. So, House and Garden magazine say that Pip is best known for creating large-scale landscapes at historic houses. So, again, very appropriate. Julia Samuel was there too. She was a close friend of Princess Diana's. Jamie Lowther Pinkerton was a former private secretary of William and Harry. He was there as well. Now, we should also mention who wasn't there, because of course it was scaled back. So initially we were expecting the Duchess of Cambridge and maybe George, Charlotte and Louis to be there. They were not there because it was completely scaled back. Also, of course, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, is over in the US. She's obviously just had a baby, so, and also coronavirus restrictions and things. So I think she felt it best to stay over in the US. I know people are going to have many opinions about that, but I don't think here and now the celebration of Diana is quite the moment to be talking about all of that. So let's move on from who wasn't there. I don't think I've missed anything out. I'm literally just kind of refreshing the screen as I go. Want me to talk about, do let me know, and I will go. So if you do have any questions or comments in a second. But the one thing I do want to, something that I noticed. So obviously we haven't really seen William and Harry together, except at Prince Philip's funeral, where they had a bit of a walk up the hill to Windsor Castle where they spoke. It's believed that William and Harry kind of weren't on the best of speaking terms. It's believed a few days ago, because of England's football win over Germany in the Euro matches, in the Euro 20 well, this year's Euro competition anyway. So apparently they had a little bit of a thawing. They found some common ground to talk about the football. I don't know how true that was, but I'm glad, if the reports are true, that they got a chance to have at least some kind of common ground before they met today. I think it would have been very awkward to not have spoken before this. Remember, this is a joint venture. It's not William's, it's not Harry's. This is both of them. They both kind of raised the money through finding external donors. This is very much both of their babies. And I think that Harry was always going to be there in some capacity. The only reasons I think he wouldn't have actually physically been over were perhaps if there were complications with new baby, with Lilibet. Coronavirus restrictions could have prevented him. But I think those are the only things that would have prevented him coming over. Even if he couldn't have come over, I think he would have been there via video link or some kind of way. So definitely both appropriate for them both to be. So I spoke about this at the start. I noticed something. So going back to the days when it was the royal trio, Catherine, William, Harry, I think they Harry had a lot of presence, and William kind of had about the same kind of level. Harry was perhaps, people could say, a bit more charismatic. William a little bit more serious in his demeanour. Today I noticed a big shift. And I don't know whether it's because, Harry might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. We know he does his calming down techniques. We know that he wasn't looking forward to coming back to the UK. So that could have had something to do with it. But William took the lead. I mean, he took the lead. He looked in control. He looked the one that everyone was looking to move on. When William moved on, everyone moved on. The camera initially was focused on William a lot more than it was Harry. Harry sometimes, to me, looked a bit awkward. I don't know how you feel about that, but he did look a little bit awkward. You still got a sense of his kind of cheeky chappy personality. That most definitely hasn't gone. That was still there. But William stepped up. I could definitely see more commanding about him. People were kind of really looking to him to lead. I don't know if you noticed it. Go back and watch the footage, or else you're probably thinking that I'm speaking a load of nonsense. But I definitely got the sense that William stepped up, and Harry was just looking very. Before Harry went away and had an extended period of time away, I didn't notice this, but I noticed it today. So I'm going to go and see what people are saying. I'm hoping that the chat hasn't been disconnected, because on my oh no, I literally can't see. Oh, I think it's because my computer was hooked up to my phone Wi-Fi. Let me just rehook it back up. I'm in trouble with my house Wi-Fi, so I'm doing it all from my phone mobile data. So just bear with me while I reload the chat. So if you do have any questions, do of course let me know. I think it's coming back slowly. So I'm going to put it back on the live chat, and I'm going to zoom all the way down. Denise, I'm just picking random comments. I'm not pre-reading them. It says, Harry kept fiddling with his ring. Apparently Charles often does that. Yes, he does. Charles is a bit of a ring fiddler as well. Lucy Lane says, Harry looked very nervous and out of place. That's what I thought. And I don't know whether it's because he's changed inside as a person, or whether it was the situation. It could have been more the situation. He's not been kind of out in the UK a lot recently. Of course, he did go to the Well Child Awards yesterday. That was moved from September to yesterday, just for his behalf. Right, let's have a look up. I'm going to try and find a comment. Lauren says, sadly, it did look like they were very separate, but like I say, maybe COVID. There was social distancing going on, but everybody had been COVID tested. It's going up. Just finding... Duchess of St Andrew says, you are missed so much more than you understand. Thank you so much. I am back now. Terry Bardi says, happy birthday to the People's Princess. Yes, of course, it was her birthday. It would have been her 60th birthday. I don't think I've even mentioned that. Yes, it would have been her 60th birthday. And my Princess Diana Clematis is out in flower at the moment. I will show you in the weekly vlog on the Elliot and Matt channel. Mrs. Pilling says, personally, my preference would just have been a white bust of her beautiful face. Yeah, maybe. They could still do that somewhere. Also, her outfit choice would have been more glamorous ball gown. A miniskirt doesn't seem quite right. Well, it was kind of her day wear. Around about the 1997, she kind of changed her fashion after divorce, and she was wearing those kind of shorter skirted business looks when she was kind of going out on... That was her engagement look when she was going out on engagements. Denise says, William so kingly. Yes, that's it. He was behaving kingly. He was. He really did look like a king, which of course he's going to be. Annie, good question, says, did they reinstate her royal title after her death? I thought it was taken from her. It was, and it has not been reinstated by anyone. So if you look on the statue plinth, it says Diana, Princess of Wales, which was her title after divorce. She was no longer the Princess of Wales. She was Diana, Princess of Wales, using Princess of Wales very much as a surname. Of course, Sarah Ferguson, Sarah, Duchess of York, was styled in the same way. I'm just going up. Laura says, the statue looks like the picture she had taken at school she taught at. Yeah, the one you're talking about is when the light was maybe shining through the skirt. I don't know, but she was in that kind of pose with that one. Joan says Diana dancing would have been lovely. Sterling says you're right. Well, I don't know what I was right about, but thank you so much for thinking that I was. Connie says I'm on the fence with the statue. Diana looks great, but confused with the kids. I first thought it was her with William and Harry. No, I think it's serious. I don't. To me, I'm going to have another look at the statue. I don't think... I'm trying to zoom in, but it's... No, I don't think she looks confused. I think she looks serious. It's like she's deep in thought, thinking about something. So no, I don't think she looks confused. I think the likeness is very, very good. And I'm sure that the statue is going to grow on me. But like I say, I would have liked something a bit more free, a bit more joyous. But I do think that this is appropriate. Let's put it that way. Miriam says, I'm so sorry I missed this. Oh no. Make sure you've got notifications turned on. All the rest of it. Michelle says, Harry looked uncomfortable and awkward. Lauren says, sadly no hugging due to COVID, but I was shocked at so many handshakes. Yes, there was. But like I said, people have been vaccinated and tested before they came here today. So you couldn't really get that much more safe, really. And to be honest, in the UK, if things stay on track, I think it's the 19th of this month, things are going to be relaxed so that we don't even have to wear face masks if we don't want to, if it stays on track. Diane says, I hope William and Harry become friends again. Yes, and I think that is what Diana would have wanted. Diana wouldn't have wanted them to be, you know, how they have been with each other. I think perhaps standing together side by side underneath their mother's likeness maybe would have had an impact on them. I'm hoping it would have had some kind of impact on them. Time will tell. I think healing takes a very, very long time. When you've had such a fracture as what's been happening, it's going to take both sides to make the effort. And that means both sides conceding a little bit, by both sides listening to each other, listening to how each other made each other feel, really understanding each other and forging a new happen overnight. It's not going to happen in just a few phone calls. But I don't understand these nasty, horrible people who keep trying to perpetuate this kind of feud between William and Harry. I'm sorry, but the gloves are off now. I don't care. I'm past the point of caring as to whether or not, what I say, basically. There are people out there that try and perpetuate the differences between them. There are people out there, there are groups of people, organised groups of people online, who support either William and Catherine or Harry and Meghan, who go out of their way to try and push them further and further apart. I think that is wrong. I don't think they should be doing that. I think they're horrible, vile, nasty, because I am done with people trying to drive a wedge between people. It's horrible. It's horrible, nasty behaviour. And it's not going to stop. Don't come to this channel, don't come to me, and don't bring it to my door, because you are a negative Nancy and I'm not having it. You will get blocked, your comments will get hidden, and that is it. The gloves are off. No more Mr. Nice Royal Reviewer. Let's put it that way. Anyway, video on a positive note, because that's what I'm all about. I want to hope, fingers crossed, that standing beneath their mother's likeness will have really made them think about actually, what their mother would have wanted, and hopefully what they both want as well. It. And it's wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. If someone has done something that's wrong against someone, doing the same thing back at them is not the right way of healing. That's not the right way of conducting yourself. And there are people out there perpetuating it. They know who they are and they need to stop. Robin says, good on you. Thank you. And Gangster Grand says, yes, driving a wedge between people is awful. It is indeed. Rayvon says, I think Diana's statue will be great in the colour white. People have said that. I think it's appropriate. If you look at the architectural colours of Kensington Palace, if you've not been there, have a look at some photos. If you look, it does style in, and it also doesn't stand out as much, so that the sunken garden can also be about other royals and throughout history that have enjoyed the sunken garden. But I think it was an appropriate colour. It might not be your favourite colour choice, but it was an appropriate one. Christine says, when will the British press stop trashing his wife and kids? I'm sure that will be when they can be friends again. William has the power to stop... He doesn't have the power to stop any smear. In Britain, the press is a free press. They write what they want to write. When it comes to the royals, the British public do not like the royals interfering with how they are perceived, if that makes sense. So we wouldn't want to see, for example, how a celebrity behaves. A celebrity likes to control how they are seen. I'm not saying the royals don't like to, create and perpetuate what to say, what not to say. The public, the British public, don't like that when the royals are publicly funded. They are given a position of power, of influence, of trust, and to be seen to be kind of hoodwinking the British public is not the done thing. So no, William does not have the power to stop anything. It's the press. So if you want to go at anyone, have a go at the press for doing it in the first place, if you don't agree with what they're saying. Lauren says, with the modes, they would have not been invited. Connie says, you're always spot on. Thank you so much. And Christine says, I agree, there are a lot of horrible hate groups people. There is. But I believe that they would have been driven by the British press. If they could stop those nasty articles, the hate groups would have nothing to bark about. Do we really think that? No, there are a lot of people that can get a lot, personally, from being negative. And I don't think they're going to stop. Even if there was no negative stories from the press, I think people would be putting their own out there. Right, so I've spoken about this at length now. Unless you've got a few minutes while I say goodbye, I am going to do a patrons only chat tonight where I chat about my life, what myself and my partner get up to. I do have another channel. It's Elliot and Matt, and I vlog about our lives. I do a weekly vlog. We do show home tours of model homes and show homes in the UK. Do go and check it out. Like I say, I'm on Patreon tonight because it's Thursday. So I go live at 7 p.m. UK time, British time, and we just chat about everything. We chat about life, whatever. So it's not too late to join my Patreon, to be involved in that chat. It is a weekly event, and you will also have access to the backdated chats as well. Nicholas says, I like your channel. I joined since your review about Diana's wedding cathedral. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Says, great live. This was a great moment for William. He truly is a king, and he handles his adversity and with incredible responsibility and grace. Yes, he has. And like I say, the difference between the two of them, I could really see. And I don't know whether, like I said, I don't know whether it's just because Harry's back in the UK, blah, blah, blah. But seeing them side by side, the presence was very, very different indeed. Right, I am going to go now. Thank you for watching this live chat. Please leave a comment. Please be respectful of other people. People that aren't respectful will get blocked. Their comments will get hidden. And basically, I don't want any negative Nancys on the channel. So, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, then please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and I will be back next time to talk about some more royal news. So, mwah to you all.